Is the god of love actually the greatest villain in Teyvat's history right now? We have spent the last year in Natlan, the nation of war. We walked in expecting blood. Instead, we found Mavuika, a gentle human archon who rides motorcycles and whose ultimate goal is to end the cycle of sacrifice. Now, turn your eyes north to the god of love, the Tsaritsa. By all logic, the archon of love should be the kindest of them all, but instead, she is the cold steel. The god of war wants to save her people. The god of love is willing to sacrifice everyone.
But before we choose sides in this clash of fire and ice, let's make sure you have the resources to pull for these archons when the time comes. If you are tired of watching your favorite banners fly by because you're short on primo gems, you need to check out TOPUPLIVE. Whether you are stocking up Genesis crystals for the upcoming Snezhnaya patches, TOPUPLIVE has you covered with the absolute cheapest prices on the market. Competitors genuinely can't match these deals. And it's not just for gaming. If you create content like this, they offer monthly subscriptions for tools like CapCut. Use my discount code EVERS for an extra 12% off. Stop overpaying and start enhancing your digital experience with TOPUPLIVE today.
Now, let's get back to the dichotomy that defines the endgame of Genshin Impact. Fire and ice, passion and indifference, the temporary warmth of the hearth versus the eternal preservation of the glacier. We are going to dive deep into the psychology of these two archons. We are going to explore a terrifying theory about the missing 10th Harbinger. We are going to talk about the potential resurrection of the Dragon King Nibelung, and we are going to ask the hardest question in the game.
Is the Tsaritsa's absolute peace worth the cost of Mavuika's humanity? Let's start with Mavuika.
When we first stepped into Natlan, the nation of war, the vibes were different. It wasn't the oppressive militarism of Inazuma, it wasn't the chaotic danger of the Abyss, it was a tournament, it was a sport. Mavuika recontextualized what war means in Teyvat. For her, war isn't about conquest, it's about survival. Her ideology is fascinating because it is fundamentally rooted in the micro.
Mavuika is a local protector.
Her fire is the fire of the hearth, it keeps the darkness at bay, it cooks the food, it warms the family. She wants peace, but she wants it specifically for Natlan. Look at her actions throughout the Archon quest. She isn't trying to overthrow Celestia. She isn't trying to rewrite the laws of the world. She is trying to break a specific curse, the pilgrimage of Wadahi, to save her specific people. This makes her the most human Archon we have ever met. She walks among her people, not as a ruler on a high throne, but as a champion. She bleeds. She loses her power. She risks her life.
But here is the critique. And it's a harsh one. Mavuika's peace is selfish.
It is a temporary solution. By fixing Natlan's problems without addressing the root cause, the heavenly principles, the false sky, the repression of humanity, she is essentially putting a bandage on a bullet wound. She is maintaining the status quo. Fire, by its very nature, is fleeting. It burns bright, it provides warmth, and then it burns out.
Mavuika represents the beauty of the moment.
She fights for the now. She fights so that Kachina can have a future, so that Kinich can live without burden. It is noble. It is heroic, but in the grand scheme of Teyvat's history, it is a flicker. And this brings us to the terrifying opposite.
If Mavuika is the micro, the Tsaritsa is the macro.
We haven't met her face to face yet. Everything we know about her is reconstructed from the scars she's left on the world, the whispers of the Fatui, and the gemstone descriptions. But the picture that is forming is chilling. The Tsaritsa is the god of love, and the tragedy of her character is that she loves the world too much. Lore tells us she was once gentle, but the cataclysm changed everything. She saw the truth of this world, the lies of Celestia, the fragility of human life, and she realized that gentle love wasn't enough to save anyone. So she froze. Ice creates stasis. Ice preserves. Unlike fire, which consumes fuel and dies, ice can last forever. The Tsaritsa isn't interested in saving a single nation like Natlan. She isn't interested in saving a single family. She wants to save everyone forever. But the cost of forever is terrible. To achieve her goal, the complete overthrow of the heavenly principles, she has had to become a monster. She has sanctioned the delusions that killed to pay. She allowed Dottore to experiment on Calais and Scarmuccio. She nearly drowned Leeway. She destabilized Inazuma. Why? Because in her calculus, these sacrifices are necessary. The Tsaritsa believes that the current world is fundamentally broken. Teyvat is a cage.
As long as Celestia rules, any peace Mavuika achieves in Natlan is an illusion.
It's just waiting for the next nail to drop. So, the Tsaritsa's love has become a twisted utilitarian weapon. She will burn the world down, paradoxically using ice to build a new one where no one has to suffer under the tyranny of fate. She is the surgeon who doesn't care if the patient screams as long as the tumor is removed. Mavuika wants a peace where people are happy today. The Tsaritsa wants a peace where people are free forever, even if she has to kill half of them to get there. Now, speaking of the Tsaritsa's methods, there is a massive mystery hanging over the Fatui that we need to address. It's a theory that changes everything about how we view Snezhnaya and the way the Tsaritsa operates.
We know the Harbingers. We have Fought Child, Signora, Scaramouche, Arlecchino. We know Piero is the director. We know Capitano is the first. But who is the 10th? The seat is empty. It's never mentioned. Some people think it's reserved for the Traveler. Some think it's a character we haven't met. But I have a different theory. A theory that aligns perfectly with the Tsaritsa's nature of deception and control. What if the 10th Harbinger is the Tsaritsa herself? Think about Venti. He walks around as Venti the Bard, not Barbados. Think about Zhongli. He is a consultant, not Morax. The Archons love disguises. They love to walk among mortals to understand them, or to manipulate them. The Tsaritsa is creating an insurgency. The Harbingers are her tools, but they're also dangerous, ambitious, and chaotic. Would a control freak like the God of Love really trust everything to them? Or would she want to be on the ground? Imagine if the 10th seat is a persona she uses to conduct field work, a guise that allows her to leave the Zapoyarny palace unnoticed. This would explain why the seat is missing. It's not missing, it's omitted. It would also explain the Fatui's fanaticism. Perhaps they know that their god fights alongside them, hidden in plain sight. It also parallels the Gnosis hunt. Maybe she didn't just order the Gnosis to be taken. Maybe she needed to be there in some form to ensure the plan worked. If this theory holds true, it adds another layer to her duality. She is the queen on the throne, distant and cold, but she is also the soldier in the trenches, ensuring her will is done. But what is this will? What is the end game? Collecting the Gnosis isn't just about making a big chess set. The Gnosis are the remains of the third descender. They are amplification devices, but more importantly, they are symbols of authority stolen from the dragon sovereigns. We saw in Fontaine what happens when that authority is returned. Nouvelette regained his full power. So why is the Tsaritsa collecting all 7? There's a prevailing theory that she isn't just trying to become a super archon. She is trying to resurrect the only being powerful enough to challenge the primordial one, the Dragon King Nibelung. We know from the lore in Sumeru and Natlan that Nibelung acquired forbidden knowledge, power from the abyss to fight Celestia. He failed, but his hatred remains. Think about the scale of the dragons. In Natlan, deep beneath the volcano, we saw the remains of the Pyro Sovereign, Shuakotl. He was the size of a mountain range. His bones stretch for miles. His sword is bigger than Dragonspine. Now imagine Nibelung, the king of them all. He was likely as large as a continent. There is a theory that the celestial nails, those pillars we find in the chasm and Dragonspine, aren't just there to heal the ley lines. They're stakes. They are pinning down the scattered, massive remains of Nibelung to keep him from regenerating. If Tsaritsa unites the Gnosis, she might be planning to break those seals, to use the stolen authority to wake the Dragon King. This is a gamble of apocalyptic proportions. Nibelung hates humanity. He hates the Archons. Reviving him is like unleashing a nuclear bomb to kill a spider. But this fits the Tsaritsa's ideology perfectly. Burn away the old world. She is willing to unleash the ultimate chaos if it means destroying the heavenly principles.
This brings us back to the core conflict, Mavuika versus the Tsaritsa. It's not just a fight over a gnosis, it's a philosophical war over the definition of peace. Mavuika's peace is humane. It recognizes that suffering is bad. She wants to minimize pain right now. She wants her people to live, laugh, and love. But her peace is fragile. It exists within the cage Celestia built. It's a golden cage, perhaps, but a cage nonetheless. The Tsaritsa's peace is absolute. She wants to break the cage. She wants to destroy fate itself so that humanity is truly free. But her method requires an ocean of blood. Here's the kicker. The smartest man in Teyvat agrees with her. Zhongli, the god of contracts, the oldest, wisest Archon, he willingly gave up his gnosis to the Tsaritsa. He signed a contract to end all contracts. Why? Because Zhongli knows that Mavuika's way and his own way is a dead end. He knows that erosion is inevitable. He knows that as long as the heavenly principles exist, Teyvat is doomed to a slow, cyclical death. Zhongli bet on ice. He bet on the Tsaritsa's radical revolution over Mavuika's gentle preservation. This is why the Cryo Archon is so compelling. She is the villain, yes, but she is a villain who has convinced the wisest heroes that she is right. So where do we fit in? We have befriended Mavuika. We have surfed the lava flows and saved Natlan. We understand the warmth of fire, but soon we will march into the snow. We will meet the Tsaritsa, and she will try to befriend us too, or at least convince us. The traveler is the variable. We are the fourth descender. We are the witness. The story seems to be setting up a Hegelian dialectic. Thesis, Mavuika, compassion, humanity, the present. Antithesis, Tsaritsa, ruthlessness, divinity, the future. Synthesis, the traveler. We are likely the only ones who can bridge the gap. We are the ones who can take the Tsaritsa's ambition, her desire to break the cage, and temper it with Mavuika's humanity. The Tsaritsa wants to freeze the world to save it. Mavuika wants to warm the world to live in it. The traveler needs to find the state between ice and fire, water, fluidity, true justice. As we approach the end of the Teyvat storyline in 2027, the lines between hero and villain are blurring. Who is the monster? The woman who fights in the arena to save a single child, or the woman who burns down a nation to save the world? Personally, I find myself terrified of what we might find in Snezhnaya, but I find myself agreeing with her logic. A permanent peace bought with sacrifice might be better than a temporary peace that just lets the rot fester. It's better to amputate the limb and survive than to let the infection spread while pretending everything is fine. But that is a hard pill to swallow when you are the one being amputated. The clash between Natlan and Snezhnaya isn't just elemental, it's a clash of what it means to be alive. Is life about the duration of your survival or the quality of your freedom? I want to hear from you. Are you Team Fire or Team Ice? Would you rather live in Mavuika's Natlan, safe for today but doomed for tomorrow? Or would you join the Fatui, commit atrocities, and risk everything for a chance at a truly free world? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the philosophy of the Archons, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We have a lot of ice to break before the end. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.